Hi, and welcome back to I'm Still Here. I'm really glad you're here with me today. In our first episode, we talked about the power of simply being here, about showing up, breathing, and acknowledging your presence, even on the days when that feels like the hardest thing to do. Today, I want to talk about what comes next, about something we hear a lot, but don't always understand how to practice. Self-love. For many of us, that phrase can feel complicated, maybe even uncomfortable. When you hear self-love, you might picture confidence, positivity, or having it all figured out. You might think it's something you're supposed to feel once you're healed, successful, calmer, happier, better. But what if self-love isn't about becoming someone new? What if it's about how you treat yourself exactly as you are? For a long time, I thought self-love meant liking myself all the time. And when I couldn't do that, when I felt frustrated, disappointed, or tired of myself, I assumed I was failing at it. But I've learned something important. Self-love isn't about always feeling good about yourself. It's about choosing not to abandon yourself when things feel hard. It's about staying. Think about how you treat someone you care about when they're struggling. You don't tell them they're weak for having a bad day. You don't demand they fix themselves before they deserve kindness. You listen. You soften. You give them space to be human. Now ask yourself, gently, how do you treat you when you're struggling? So many of us have an inner voice that is harsh, impatient, or critical. A voice that says, you should be doing better. Why are you still like this? Other people handle this just fine. And that voice can be so convincing, can it? It often sounds like our own. It knows our deepest insecurities and fears, and it uses them against us. It tells us we are not enough, that we are falling behind, that we are fundamentally flawed. And the most painful part is, we often believe it without question. It's important to understand that this inner critic isn't you. It's a recording. It's a pattern of thinking you learned a long time ago as a way to protect yourself. Maybe it was a way to motivate yourself, to push yourself to be better so you could avoid criticism from others or to fit in. It was a strategy for survival. That voice didn't come from nowhere. It's often learned from pressure, expectations, or survival. And it doesn't make you broken. It makes you human. But self-love begins when we start to notice that voice and choose not to let it run the whole conversation. Self-love might sound like, this is hard, and I'm allowed to feel this way. I'm doing the best I can with what I have today. I don't need to punish myself to grow. And I want to say this clearly. You don't need to love yourself perfectly to be worthy of love. Some days, self-love looks like confidence. Other days, it looks like rest. And some days, very honestly, it looks like just not making things harder for yourself. If you're listening to this and thinking, I don't know how to love myself yet, that's okay. Self-love doesn't start with big declarations. It starts with small moments of compassion. Here are a few gentle ways to begin. Nothing overwhelming, nothing you have to master. First, notice how you speak to yourself. You don't have to change every thought, just notice the tone. When you make a mistake, do you speak with understanding or punishment? When you're tired, do you allow yourself rest or guilt? Try this. When you catch yourself being harsh, pause and ask, would I say this to someone I love? If the answer is no, see if you can soften it, even slightly. Second, let self-love be about needs, not performance. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Try asking, what do I need right now? Maybe you need rest, maybe reassurance, maybe space, maybe a moment to breathe. You don't have to earn your needs by being productive or strong. Needing support doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're human. And third, allow self-love to be imperfect. You don't have to feel loving toward yourself every day. You don't have to believe every kind thing you say yet. Sometimes self-love is just saying, I don't feel okay, and I'm not leaving myself because of it. That matters more than you think. If this feels emotional to hear, that's okay too. It often means you're touching something real. Before we finish, I want to offer you a small moment, something you can carry with you after this episode ends. Wherever you are, take a slow breath in and exhale. Place a hand somewhere comfortable, your chest, your arm, your lap, and quietly say to yourself, I'm still here. I'm learning. I'm allowed to be kind to myself. You don't have to feel anything special, just let the words land. Self-love isn't a destination, it's a relationship. One you build slowly, honestly, and with patience. And the fact that you're listening to this, the fact that you're curious, open, and still trying, that already says so much about you. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for choosing yourself, even in this small way. In the next episode, we'll continue this conversation about the voices we carry inside us and how to make space for gentler ones. Until then, please remember this. You don't need to be fixed to be worthy. You don't need to be perfect to deserve care. You are still here, and that is enough. Take care.